Hello guys, and today I want to discuss with you one very important topic: purges in the Russian army and in the Ministry of Defense. And somehow this very important news often remain unnoticed by global media when actually they tell a lot about the situation Putin and his criminal gang are in. In May, Putin fired Shoigu. After that, more than 10 people from his closest circle were also fired and many of them arrested. Well, actually, in the news, we've read recently about the arrest of the third deputy of Shoigu, and all within months. He's waiting for imprisonment because of fraud. Others were arrested for corruption, but we all know corruption and fraud is a part of state management in Russia, and actually many people remain close to Putin because they back up each other in their criminal businesses. So the reason is definitely different. There can be actually many. First of all, the failure of the blitzkrieg. That's obvious. Now we even have Ukrainian army on the Russian territory controlling Russian settlements, something that seemed totally impossible at the planning stage, perhaps when overconfident Putin was discussing that with overconfident Shoigu. Now Shoigu is fired and Putin will be fired sometime soon. So let's discuss this topic from an ordinary Ukrainian perspective. And if you want to know more about our fight for freedom, subscribe. This is the easiest way to demonstrate your solidarity and help spread the truth and fight Russian fake narratives. And definitely the story about the invincible Russian army is fake. Also, I often say that Russia is the mother of corruption, and all because of crazy Soviet system that believed communism is possible when in reality it was the party elite that controlled everything and actually gave birth to this very specific and very toxic kind of corruption that now remains in Russia and was a serious problem for many countries that, like mine, were previously occupied by the Moscow regime. So, definitely many things are much worse than Russian army pretends them to be. And we know that, for example, they claim they produce 1,000 tanks a year. And then when you look back in the documents, you can see that actually they have built 90 new tanks during the year and they have renovated those that were perhaps monuments on the streets of some depressing Russian streets. And they have counted them as new. This is the way Shoigu made his business, and perhaps after failure, and then another failure, and another failure, blitzkrieg, then failure to control Kharkiv and the region, then Kherson that was first occupied by invaders but really quickly liberated by the Ukrainian army. Now Kursk operation, actually I can share a separate video on top Russian failures. Let me know, would you like to see one? So it goes without saying that from this military perspective, Shoigu and co demonstrated lots of failures. But Russians, and Putin in particular, they live in their own parallel reality where they see things differently. You know how they say that they stop Ukrainian drones with the walls of oil depots, and they actually believe that. Or when they speak about an explosion, they describe it as a loud sound that had continued in detonations, but that was according to the plan. They can explain everything, but reality remains reality. And in this reality, Russia is failing, and now Putin is looking for the guilty ones. So recently he fired and then imprisoned another General Popov, who is the third deputy of Shoigu out of the arrested. Can you imagine that? Let me know, do you think Shoigu will be arrested sometime soon? And if you're new to the channel, subscribe to see Putin arrested. I'm sure we will discuss that on the channel sometime soon. So Popov, General Popov, this time Pavel, because the previous one arrested was Ivan, and no, they are not brothers, fathers and son, they simply share the same surname. And they share the same position, both of them were deputies of Shoigu. So at the moment, 3 of them arrested. Can you imagine things like that happening in a country that claims and pretends to be super effective? That must be very problematic for Russian trolls and bots to explain. By the way, guys, recently I have observed some very weird activity with subscriptions. You know, I always like that, but it seems a little bit artificial, and I have some fears that this might be a bot attack on the channel. And that's why there are lots of filled with hate comments. There are lots of people saying Russia is great and so on. Please be careful, and if you have any advice, I will be grateful, because there are such things as bot attacks on pro-Ukrainian, pro-democratic channels. And I had to hide one video. Now it is available for sponsors only. So sponsors, you can actually see what video provoked super activity from quite an unusual part of the world that previously was almost absent from the viewers. And it is a video about the destruction of a ferry in Kavkaz port. So anyway, we are doing something good if we encounter these attacks, and for example, a NAFO campaign is a good proof of that. Because of your beautiful support and community, we will buy not 2 but 3 Mavics, we will buy 60 FPV drones and a truck. I'm also very grateful to all the people who came and supported the campaign from Jake's Bro campaign, which is $1 million for the second time. And now, giving my debt back, I'm encouraging you to support other people who have active campaigns on NAFO webpage, because this is an extremely good opportunity, very transparent, very clear, and very fast. And it helps to demonstrate the weakness of the Russian army and the problems they encounter on a daily basis. So we have lots of people fired from the Ministry of Defense. Among those people fired from the Russian Ministry of Defense, many are arrested or imprisoned with claims that are very typical for Russia, like fraud or corruption, when in reality they work like that. And only when they stop obeying the master, the ruler, the Putin, they can have troubles. Or when they see that the system itself is collapsing and they want to run out like those rats from the sheep. And that's the moment when Putin stops them, puts them in cells, and we don't know when will problems happen, because Russia is not about democratic movements. Russia is not about evolutionary changes in the civil society. It's about coups. It's quite bloody. It's extremely violent. But people, you have to change from inside if you want to live in a better world. I don't see that coming anyway. Also, there are reports about lots of protests and sabotages on Russia's defense plants and factories, because, you know, they turn to be dangerous places, legitimate targets, and more people don't want to work for the regime. It is very easy to stop Russian war in Ukraine. Russia just have to stop, take away all of its soldiers back to its land where they belong. Russian soldiers also have this option. They can escape, they can give up, they can surrender, survive, and maybe even witness the times in Russia without Putin. Do you believe this is possible? I hope so. And I'm sure sometime soon we will discuss that on the channel. So please subscribe if you're new, but you're not a bot. Please share the videos that you like, but also when it's natural and yours. Be careful, because some provocations are possible, but this only proves that the voice of our community is strong, and I'm blessed to have you real friends and real supporters. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, and helping me film more and work more and write more. Check our merch shop. We are finishing our month's collection, and 15% sale remains on these t-shirts with the Ukrainian names of months. So if you like, you can get one, because since the 1st of September, we take them away from the webpage. Subscribe to my Instagram, X, Threads, and Discord. And travel with me. I'm on a business trip. I'm still with my call. That's my tradition. I never catch calls at home, but whenever I'm traveling, voila. And that might be the word that can help you guess where I'm working. So anyway, thank you so much for being friends. Thank you so much for your support, and united we stand. Slava Ukraini!